Hey my vintage paper lovers, welcome to Steph's Design Space where the past and present meet in journal form. Today we are going to be making a no-sew, so there's no sewing. I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be like an ephemera holder or a Happy Mail holder or something, but you'll see what I'm talking about. I am going to use tab binding with fabric. Now I've done a lot of pre-work because this would have been like the world's longest video. First of all, y'all know I'm a slow crafter, so it would have taken me forever to do all of this on camera, even speeding it up. So I did a lot of prep work and easy to explain. So I went treasure hunting and found a stationery box that had a plethora of these pink envelopes in them. And I thought, you know what? I am gonna make something with these pink envelopes. So I did. So let me go through what I've done so far. I have 8 of these pink envelopes. I did take the flap, so I've already glued this one down. I did take the flap that is in here and I just glued it down to the back. So no matter what I take in and out, it doesn't catch on the flap. Sometimes when you just fold it down, which is perfectly fine, but when you're pulling stuff in and out, it can pull the flap out or it can get caught up in there. So I just glued the flap down so it would be like this. The second thing I did, so here is one of them, right? So this is the envelope. I covered up this part. And the way that I do that to measure, I got a piece of trash, something that didn't print right for me, but whatever, you can use whatever you want, plain piece of paper. I just laid it on there, traced around it, made it a tiny bit shorter so it would fit in, put this in. So I'm just going to show you how you can make templates. Y'all know I am like the queen of templates. If I can make a template for it, I am. So you put it in. Let me scooch that stuff out of the way. Okay, make sure that it's good and in there. You just take your pencil and you trace all over the envelope. You trace around. And you can do this to any envelope that you want to cover this part. So then all you do is take your scissors. Now I cut a little bit on that side of the line, just in case. I'd rather cut something, have a little too much than not enough. So I do cut a little bit outside of that line, mostly because I don't trust my own tracing abilities, or cutting abilities for that matter. And then a wee bit right there. And this is the template. So then I just took some of my Vintage Rose double-sided paper that is on the website, and I laid my template down. I figured out where I wanted it. Now it's not a clear template. We know I love those, but I did kind of figure out where I wanted it. I really wanted to have roses and stripes. So I just laid it where I wanted it, traced around, cut it out, and it fits perfect on the outside. So tracing it, and then you just glue it onto the outside and you have a decorative envelope. I did the same thing for the blank part. So this part, I just traced, cut it out, and glued it on, which also makes it a lot more sturdy. Because it has, you know, cardstock on it on both sides. So it makes it a good sturdy envelope. I did ink around to give it, you know, some depth and definition. So I inked this one and this. I have not, and I need to ink just the very top of the envelope so it's cohesive. So I'll do that with y'all. I have 8. So I have decorated 8 envelopes and I will show them to you now. So we have that and that. This is from something else of mine, and for the life of me, I don't know what. I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is open You know, sometimes glue will kind of seep through or under, and we don't want that. So really, I wanted to show you how to do tab binding and use up these envelopes and my paper, because I love my vintage rose paper. It is so gorgeous. I love the stripes and the I love everything about it. So that. And that. Okay, so those, oh, I didn't show you that. I used a different, this is a different paper pack, and for the life of me, I don't know what it is. And it could have been in a sub box. I don't know, I don't remember. Okay, so that is what is going to be on the inside. The outside, I measured the envelope. So it measures like 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I just added like a 1/2 inch on each side for my cover. Not even a half, a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch all the way around. So I just added a 1/4 inch. I cut out, it was the, oh, I'm just going to show you an example. So when I take the paper packs that I get from Michael's, Hobby Lobby, wherever, I save these. I use them for all kinds of things, but they do make good covers. So I just took this, cut it into that, and then I covered it with scrapbook paper on one side, and I really like ledger paper, so I did that on the inside so I can journal on it if I want, I can decorate it if I want, what have you. So because I added those two things, it made this very sturdy, so we don't have to worry about it being flimsy. Okay, so that is what I have done. So this is the front, this is the back. So this will be the cover for these items. So I'm just catching you up on what I have done so far. Because honestly, this stuff, it's mundane is probably not the right word to use, but you're just tracing and cutting and gluing, tracing, cutting, and gluing. Y'all know how to trace, cut, and glue, okay? And that's why I decided to just do it and then explain it to you so you know how I did what I did. Now, the next thing I'm going to explain to you, because I already pre-did this, is I already cut out my tabs. Now I'm using fabric that I already had. I thought the pinks looked really good, so I'm using two different, well, it's the same fabric, I'm just using two different pieces of it. So mine are about 2 inches long, and I don't know how wide, it doesn't really matter. I don't know, little, like 3/4. This one's an inch, but they're not perfect because I tore it and it is what it is. But I did add double-sided tape. I used the smaller one because I like having the raggedy edge, right? So we'll see how that works. It may not. So I already have those pre-cut and the double-sided tape on them. Okay, so everything is ready. The main goal of this video is to show you how to put it together. And that's what we're gonna do. Now, I realized that I have not rounded the corners on this, and we all know that I love rounded corners, and I have not inked it up. So that I will do real quick while I am here with you. And I'm using the tea dye, oh goodness, that didn't want to cut, ink. I fooled around with a couple of other colors, but the tea dye seemed to, I don't know, make me happy. So that's what I did. So I'm using the tea dye Distress ink. Now I know there's a difference between Distress and the oxides. I mostly have oxides. I just use them all the same way. I just know the oxides react to water. So if I want to do something with that, I know I need to use an oxide. Otherwise, I just use it because for me, it made more sense to buy the oxide so I could use it both ways, as opposed to having 2 of everything, 1 in distress and 1 in oxide. Does that make sense? Of course it does. And yes, the colors are a wee bit different, lighter, darker, but it is not enough to constitute me spending an extra $10. You know what I mean? Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I am going to ink the inside. So I have some questions for y'all. First of all, I just want to say thank you for your support. I love being here. But in all honesty and in full transparency, I kind of feel like I have lost my mojo a little bit. It's that time of the year where I am so busy with the business part that the crafting part kind of falls to the wayside. And it's hard to sit down and just craft and make pretty things when I know I have 2 boxes that have to get done, and you know, all the other things, the live sales and all of that. So excuse me. So anyway, that's kind of feel like I have lost my mojo a bit as far as like the crafting, but I miss it. So I'm trying to make it a priority. And off topic, I don't like these flat, what are those, like the dauber sponges, whatever they're called. I don't like the flat ones as much as I like the round ones. The reason I am using the flat ones, and I'll show you as soon as I'm done with this, there is a reason I pulled out my flat ones to use. And it's because I came up with a way to keep them with the ink and it still fit in my storage. Okay, this tea dye is not juicy, or I'm so used to having a sponge that is just soaked with brown. Okay, so I have those done. Now I'm gonna still need this. But what I've done, and I'll just show you one. So I took, what is that? Not double-sided tape, although you could. A tape runner. So I just took a tape runner and just kind of put some down, got the flat one, and it sticks perfectly. And this fits perfectly on my little tray that I have. My green dauber is for all the colors that I don't use every day. So I have, these are my daubers. So I have my black for my black soot. I have the red for aged mahogany. I have the brown for vintage photo. And then the green one is generally empty, like it just stays like that. And then I just remove the pad for each of those. So, that is why I have the flat ones, is because they fit under the thing, and the dome ones, not so much. Like, they fit, but then it's hard for them to store in my little storage thing. Okay, I'm just inking this up because I did not do the top of the envelope. Okay, on to what else I was gonna ask is, now I know on this one I did a lot of the prep work ahead of time. Is that something that y'all are like, oh, thank goodness, because I don't like watching all the prep work? Or are y'all like, oh man, I wish she would have, you know, done the prep work on the video? I really do want to know what y'all want and what y'all, I mean, this is for y'all, right? Because I'm not filming for me. I could just craft and not film at all. I'm filming and, you know, doing this to help others show them, you know, different ways of doing things. I am not the first person who's made this. There are plenty of people out there making all the things. But sometimes it's, techniques are different, or, you know, thought processes are different, and that helps you as a crafter. So see how I just put that under there? And then it's gonna go, because I really did get tired of my brown one. It was every color of brown. It was ground espresso, vintage photo, tea dye, walnut stain, gathered twigs. All the browns was on here, and it was, oh, and scorched timber. And so really it was just like a mud that I was distressing with. That's why I wanted to separate them. Okay. I just want to figure out, I don't need the back one right now, I just need the front one. And I want to figure out what I want the very first one to be. And I want it to be that one. The rest of them, I don't care. Now, I toyed with the idea, do I want this to be on the front and that to be on the back? Or do I want it like this? So you put stuff in and then that is there. And I'm really leaning towards this. I like the way it looks better, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so all of them, and I wanna make sure they're all facing the same way, because I do have a tendency to not pay attention and do things backwards. And that will not do. Okay, now, let me catch a breath. So I know that's going on, and then, so these are all in the order I want them in. Now, this is the front. So I need to put my tabs here, okay? Because this is the going towards the spine. And I want to start with these. You need 3 tabs, whatever you use. You can use fabric, you can use washi tape, you can use ribbon, you can use whatever you want, okay? You just need to have 3 of them. And I am going to pull, see, sometimes it just doesn't want to stick right. Tweezers, because I keep forgetting to bring my pokey tool on this side. It's on the other side, but these tweezers work pretty well. So I say that and then they're like, no, not today, not today, boss. Oh my gosh, I did burnish these down. I made a huge point to burnish them down. Struggle is real, because the sticky part is not sticking to the fabric right on the corner where I need it to. Oh my goodness. Go. Okay, let's try from this side. Are we going to... Maybe I should just break down and go get the pokey tool. Oh, I got it separated. Okay. See, I share all the struggles with y'all, so you don't feel alone when it happens to you. All right. So I'm going to put this one up at the top, and I want it about halfway, so, you know, give or take. It's gonna go just like that. And now we're gonna take another one, and I'm gonna explain something else to y'all here in a moment when I'm through struggling. So this one is gonna go in the middle, And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Like, junk journaling has no rules, and there is no place for perfection in junk journaling. Now, that is my opinion, but trust me, it is, the imperfections are what make it so. Like, I don't ever strive for the Pinterest board, picture perfect, Instagram photo, you know, none of that. Because then I would never do anything, right? Okay, so we're gonna put this one on this end. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna flip it. Okay. Let me get this and burnish just to make sure. All right. Now we're going to take this one, and we're not going to attach it. That's not how we're going to attach it, but we need to line it up like that. Now we're going to take, now you can use the same ones. I just opted to use different ones. Just so I could keep track. And now this one, we're only going to put 2. And it's going to go in between. So I'm just going to show you before I commit, right? So they're going to go like this. So whatever you do, you need to make sure that you have room for 5 of your tabs for binding. You can do more. The bigger, the more you want to do. But at least this project, we're doing 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. So you need to make sure that you have excuse me, enough room, because this tab is going to have to go in between. Okay, now I have to see if I know how to, if I remember how to do this. Now I want it to be like that. Hold on. So if I want it like this, because those are going to need to stick out. All right, so this one is going to go, now it doesn't have to be close right now. I'm really just measuring this space. So I'm going to put it right here. Okay, stay. So I'm going to put that one right there. So I know one of the months I challenged myself and I was just doing like 20-minute videos, and a lot of people like that, but then a lot of people were like, you know, they missed the longer ones. Where do y'all stand? What do you want when you're watching a junk journal YouTube video? Because I realize watching all videos is not the same, right? So, all right, this is gonna go halfway, and it's gonna go right there, and then this one. Because I tend to do my videos in the way that I like to watch videos, which is straightforward and to the point. Like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but very rarely do I sit here and talk about all the personal life stuff. Sometimes, you know, if something's going on, but my YouTube channel is basically, look at this cool thing, this is how you do it, please share your, you know, whatever. That is, because that is what I watch YouTube, junk journal YouTube videos for that purpose. Okay, now it's got to come up. Now, this is like that, that is perfect. So you're going to take this and you're going to put it, I'm going to have to turn this around because y'all know, up against the edge. So we want the edge of the envelope to be at the edge of the cover. Okay, so we have that. And then we are going to take the 3 from the cover and fold it onto the envelope. And I'm going to have to lay it down and do it because I want to make it tight. So making it tight, there's no spacing in between. And there we go. And there we have it. Okay, so that one is attached. Now we take the next one, and this is now 3. So now we're taking these and we are going to put them, attach them like this. Because you want to make sure there's room for those. Because I had to cut these down. So that is what we're going to do. And that is how you know how many tabs you need. So if you're doing 2 different types like I am, then I made a pile. So I knew that my cover was 3 and this one was 2. So I had 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, until they were all gone. So I had a stack of 3s and then I had a stack of 2s. And that's how I cut my strips. So I knew I needed 15 of 3s, and then I needed 8 of 2s. Now, hopefully, I did my math right, and that is all that it is. But I do have extra fabric if I made a mistake in my calculations, which is probably the case, because, you know, math. So now you just alternate 3 and 2, 3 and 2. So this one is 3. The next one, it's just going to be the 2 tabs. So I'm trying to keep this lined up so I can make sure that it is measured properly. Now I did, not thinking this all the way through, I cut all my tabs and then I put double-sided tape. Y'all, that took forever. So my recommendation is put down your double-sided tape if you're doing like fabric tape like this, and then cut. Because putting it on the little ones, ugh, it was a pain. A pain, I tell you. And then this one. So I'm going to do this. The rest of them I'm going to do right here with y'all, but I am going to speed through it. One, it is taking me frickin' ever to separate the sticky from the tape. I am going to go get my pokey tool and see if that helps. But in the meantime, all right, so we have that one. Now you flip it after you unstick it from your desk. So we are flipping it. We are lining it up with the envelope. So at this point, I'm not worried about the cover anymore. I'm lining envelope and envelope up. And we are doing the 2, right? So this is the one that's on the previous one. So now we're doing, if you have just laid down 3, then you know that you are folding the 2. If you are laying down the 2, then you know that you're folding the 3, right? So on this one, I am laying down the 2, therefore I will be folding the 3. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to get the pokey tool and I'm going to do this really fast and then we're going to show you the end. Okay, so we're at the end, like towards the end, so I want to share a few things. First of all, this was a nightmare with the double-sided tape. I would have been better off using the glue, which I had to do on one of those because the double-sided tape stuck to the desk, so I did have to glue one. That would have been much faster working with fabric, so that is a lesson for me. The next thing I wanted to tell you is that The back cover, you don't count that in your tab count because the tabs that I put on the last page are the ones that go on the back cover. So the back cover, you don't put tabs on that because you have these that are going to secure it, like so. And doing it down. And this, theoretically, now they are a bit crooked. Again, like, I'm not trying to be perfect. Now I could have spent way more time, lined it up differently, you know what I'm saying, and made it a bit more perfect, but I didn't. So this is what the book is gonna look like. So there is a bit of a gap, but not too terribly much. But that still leaves room to add things. So if I add stuff in here and in here, it has room to grow. So we have, and I didn't have to sew a thing. So if I would have taken a little more time and lined them up, they would have lined up. But again, I'm not going to get hung up on that. So that is how I am making this I'm going to call it an ephemera book. I'm probably going to put some ephemera pieces in here. Actually, I think this is going to be Happy Mail for a Blue Bonnet Patreon. I will put stuff in each of these envelopes, and that can be her Happy Mail. So, fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a lot. Please answer the questions, down below. Again, I'm doing this for you, so I want your opinion. I can't please everybody, and I know that, but it helps to know what my base, the people who watch my videos, what they're looking for in a junk journal video. So thanks for watching. Y'all know what to do. Follow me in all the places. Give this video a thumbs up. Make a comment. And until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye.